Leona Helmsley, the Queen of Mean. There's a story about a commission for a chandelier. The craftsman uses it as an opportunity to display a collection of treasured cut crystals. Leona wasn't looking for a cherished memory. She was looking for a chandelier and rejects the work. Protesters were out in Federal Plaza on Sunday in support of President Nicolas Maduro of Venezuela. The protesters said we need to get over our white savior complex and stop oppressing free people around the world: Muslim, Palestinian, Afghan, Native Americans, and Venezuelans. It was a long list, and no mention of President Trump. It's part of a larger narrative that white people are to blame. Maybe white people are to blame. Protesters could be right about that, and they could be wrong. We have our aspiration and our vocation, a narrative of cherished memories, and a narrative of getting somewhere in the world, going for the gold in this life and the gold cup of knowing there's something more. Welcome. Welcome to Coffee Hour. I'm Stanley Smith. At Coffee Hour, we talk about everything and nothing. Recently, we talked about being a narco terrorist, being tried in New York, emotional house cleaning, and opening a learning center in Minnesota. The readings at Washington National Cathedral were from Isaiah. God's light shines through the dark cloud of being ourselves. And from Ephesians, if everyone's included, there's nothing really special about it. The gospel reading was from Matthew. Herod was a narco terrorist who needed to be deposed, but Christ wasn't that kind of Messiah. Somebody else had to do it. The sermon at Washington National Cathedral was by Rose Duncan. Rose said that Saks Fifth Avenue and Neiman Marcus have moved on to the next season. Cruise wear and swimsuits are in stores now, but the church lingers in Christmas a little longer. Soon enough, the world looks a lot like it did before Christmas and will return to the paid political advertising in church instead of being disciples of Christ. If we want to make Christ's presence in the world more than window dressing, we need to look for the love of God in the world all year long. How does the miracle of the manger make a difference in our lives, the lives of others, and in the life of the world? Jesus's parents were religiously active and good tax-paying citizens. We treasure all the things we love in our heart, and we have to live in the world at the same time. It's the thing we don't always understand about ourselves and others. We discover the hypocrisy of being alive. We're not worthy, but we're alive anyway. We're not lost. We're right where we need to be because God is right here with us. At St. James Cathedral, the sermon was by Stephen Balke. Stephen preached about being political and being partisan. Church is always political, but shouldn't be partisan. Political about manifesting God's will on earth, and being partisan about who is going to pay for it, because Christ already has. God's love is not a worldly commodity to be traded on the New York Stock Exchange. Being a disciple of Christ means having some skin in the game and doing something, even when it's going to cost you. It's not like opening a daycare center in Minnesota to make money by forgetting the people you're actually supposed to be serving. We're all looking for a leader to show us the way. But what kind of leader are we looking for? Are we looking for someone who's going to bring us larger oil reserves or an opportunity for people to learn and be healed? Maybe it's both. Christ chooses to teach us and to share his power so we can teach and heal others. It's the ultimate non-for-profit because it's not about the profits of this world. We can grasp the gold cup of worldly success and the gold cup of salvation. Are we willing to assemble, teach, and heal, share the power vested in us, and reign with him, knowing what it is to be persecuted and raised up. It's the most political thing we can be. My friend Reagan Burke wrote a blog post this week about growing up in her fundamentalist Christian community. They had a doomsday cult, which looks a lot like what's going on in the world today. At the same time, oddly, people seem pretty happy and optimistic about the future. We all have a narrative individually and collectively. We're living a life of personal joys and concerns, relationships, and challenges. And in the background is the world. The current narrative on the world stage is Venezuela. The New York Times says that initiative to oust President Maduro actually started under President Obama and continued under 4 presidencies. They were all out to get rid of him. It's not partisan, it's political and purely strategic. It's a narrative, but it's colored by our own personal partisan narrative. If you want to get somewhere, you need to navigate your way politically. Protesters in Federal Plaza express their outrage every 6 months under a new flag and with new signs. It's a Marxist axiom to always wave the flag of how unhappy we all are. But in fact, most people are pretty happy. In the new year, people are in a good mood, and the level of acrimony and rancor has cooled. New York Times' best advice for 2026 is to drink more water each day. If you need to do some physical, mental, and emotional house cleaning, then do that. We choose to be happy or sad. Being happy doesn't mean there isn't plenty of bad things going on. It's a narrative and an endless list of people to blame. It's not a new story. It's a distraction from the good news all around. And that's the narrative of who we really are. If you would like to join us at Coffee Hour, I will include my email in the description of this video. Be happy to send you an invitation. And I look forward to seeing you very, very soon.